Have you been losing 1v1s in Valorant and you don't really know why? Maybe you're not hitting the appropriate sprays, you're getting dinked in the head, and you just don't know exactly what you should be doing to give yourself the best shot at winning 1v1s. That being said, in this video, we'll be breaking down some of the most important things that you need to know in order to start winning all these precious 1v1s and get yourself ready for the ranked mode coming in a couple weeks in Valorant. All that being said, if you like Valorant content, we're pumping out double daily uploads, so do yourself a favor and smash the subscribe button. But without further ado, let's just jump right into it, shall we? So the first core topic that we have to get to is crosshair placement. Crosshair placement is an extremely important concept for you to understand, but it's even more important in a game like Valorant. Having your crosshair in the right position allows you to flick easier or not have to flick at all to secure a kill. Putting your crosshair near a wall with a certain amount of wiggle room when you're actually peeking around it allows you to easily flick to any sort of head that comes into your way, and having crosshair at head level means that it's a lot easier for you to actually get that one tap kill, that perfect accuracy, secure the headshot, and win the matchup altogether. When watching gameplay, crosshair placement is the biggest factor in understanding what kind of background that player comes from. If a player has really poor crosshair placement, more often than not, they come from a game that's not an FPS. Now, if the player has really good crosshair placement, they probably have tons of FPS background, and it's really apparent just by watching a couple of their footage. But if you don't have this crosshair placement on point, be sure to get it on point right away, and you're going to start winning more 1v1s just like that. On top of that, as a bonus tip, try to make it to where your crosshair is extremely small. I have an extremely small crosshair that's lime green that really is very small on my screen, and it doesn't move based on my spray. This is an example of one high quality crosshair that you can use, but I've seen anywhere from dots to really tiny crosses. Anything that doesn't get in your way and is extremely tiny and precise is probably best for you. Look at what other streamers and pro players are running and find one that you like and try to copy it. Now moving on to the next thing that's probably losing you a lot of duels is the intricacies of how to take gunfights, whether you're crouching, standing still, or walking altogether. While moving at full speed, a lot of your fire is going to be very inaccurate unless you're using something like a shotgun. So shotguns allow you to move pretty sporadically. You're not going to get that much spread, and even if it does, you're still going to be able to land quite a bit of shots. So things like jumping and moving are probably only okay on these weapons. Now, you can walk and shoot, and it is decently accurate, but what I would suggest you do is right before you take the shot, try to stop altogether. You can move in between bursts if you want to, but I'm going to talk to you about spray control in a second. But try to make sure that you're walking, and not only silences your steps, but makes you far more accurate. But when you're actually taking the shot, standing still is the best. Now, many streamers have come out, including Mendo and Tim the Tapman, saying that crouching is a crutch, and crouching is a really bad habit for a lot of players. The problem is, if you're completely still, there's a certain amount of time that you need to be completely still and crouching to get that crouch bonus. But for most people, they're walking around the map. They're doing slight movements, walking around the map, peeking corners and things like that. The time it takes for you to actually get that first shot is too long. If you take that first shot while you're standing right after you walked and start crouching, sure, it brings down your crosshair, but it doesn't give you any benefit, and crouching actually makes you easier to hit. So here's what I would suggest to do. Try to crouch almost as little as possible. Crouching is not that powerful in this game. It's far better to learn how to walk and move, plant your feet, and don't crouch, and simply hit your shots. This will give you more consistent shots, gives you the same amount of accuracy because you're trying to walk around the map, still gives you a certain amount of mobility, and it's a good habit to get into. Do not get in the habit of crouching all the time. Trust me, you're gonna have a much better time if you try to crouch as little as possible and just try to actually learn spray control, which I'm gonna talk about right now. So here's the thing, there's a certain amount of aim recovery to where if you stop spraying, there's gonna be a while until you can shoot again before your aim is pinpoint accurate. That's why more often than not, if you're in a 1v1 where you cannot disengage from, you're not something like Jet, you can't go behind natural cover, you're in a straight up 1v1 and you cannot disengage, you really need to learn spray control. What I would highly suggest is going into the bot training room, turning on all the bots, the 30 bots, and practice after those first initial 3 spots where the spray goes up and starts spraying up above where you're aiming. Really practice and learn how to control that spray pattern, because really that's what you're gonna have to master. Sometimes you're gonna instantly hit that headshot, but not always, and learning the spray control can be the best way that you actually win 1v1s in matchups, and really do this while you're standing. Don't try to actually fix your spray control with crouching, and instead simply learn how to spray control while you're standing up. We talked about while crouching is not that necessary and can actually hinder you before, so really try to learn how to spray control exactly how you would be firing in a game, which is standing up. Right after you get done walking, you plant your feet, you spray, and learn how to control your spray. Now we're going to talk about another key aspect in Valorant, which is effective range, and this is a really important one. Guns have different effective ranges. If you know your gun's effective range, you can take it into that effective range and use it. Something like a Guardian has a really far effective range, can one-shot headshot from 50 meters away. Now, a Phantom has the same effective range as the Guardian, but something like a Phantom might be easier to control, but its effective range is going to be less. Understanding how powerful your gun is at certain ranges can let you take matchups when your gun is in its effective range to give you the best chance of winning them, and you can hold points and push points that are in your gun's effective range. You don't want to be holding long when you have a pistol up against some oppers. You don't want to be pushing short when you have something like a Marshall up against shotguns. You get the point, but effective range is a very important concept that you need to get down right now. Now, speaking of what you need to do right now, smash that like button. Come on. It's just sitting there. Look at it. Look at it. You need to press it. Now, moving on to the next and final thing that you need to know in order to start winning more 1v1s is peak wars and understanding what they mean and how. So there's certain things you could do in peak wars. Things like jiggle peeking, where you walk full speed and you essentially peek a corner incredibly quickly to figure out some information, where enemies are, what weapons they have, and if some enemy has something like it, more often than not, if you jiggle peek it barely, just so you see the bare minimum of information, they will usually not be able to actually execute the shot. Jiggle peeking is something that you need to practice and feel, but it can definitely be really important to learn information. Also, you never want to be trying to hold multiple angles if you can help it. Having to guard multiple places at once means that enemies can come from any place and you're not ready for them. You're not going to be using your positioning advantage. Try to isolate the angles that you're holding, try to refrain from peeking multiple angles, and don't even forget about why you should be peeking farther or closer to the pivot point. If you want to know more about that, I recently released a video on the channel that can definitely help you. So go check it out because this concept is extremely important for you to nail. That being said, if you like this content, I'm going to ask you to smash the subscribe button. Double daily uploads, who does that? I mean, we do at Game Leap, and you can ride this train all the way to being insane at Valorant. Anyways, if you have any other videos that you want to see or any questions, let me know in the comments down below. That's all I have for you today. I'm Coach Mills, and until next time.